Hey everyone, it's Emma and today we're going to be talking about my favorite homemade cleaners. So the inspiration for this video actually came with all of this coronavirus nonsense. So today is actually March 19th, but basically I figured if all of the cleaners are selling out all across America and the rest of the world, and if you're quarantined for a few weeks and you run out of cleaners, I think these would be a great backup. I'm not saying they're better than any other cleaners out there. They are homemade, they are natural, they are low waste, and they're very cost effective. Some of them are very, very cheap. Some of them are basically almost free, and you probably already have almost all of these ingredients in your home. And I'm not just saying that these are great like during time of sickness or a time of quarantine or anything like that. I think they're great all year round. I actually started doing these about a year ago when I started taking my zero waste journey seriously. The first one I started making was my homemade all-purpose cleaner, so let's go ahead and talk about that one first. So this recipe is super simple, and I love that it utilizes food waste as well. So basically all you have to do is eat a bunch of oranges or other types of citrus. I think oranges probably smell the best, but I've also done it with grapefruits. So once you're done eating them, make sure you scrape out all of the inside, the flesh, if you will, for lack of a better word. And then I just put that into my compost bucket. And then once you're done scraping out the insides of your citrus, take the rest of the peel or the rind and put it into a glass jar and put it in the refrigerator until your jar is completely full. It usually takes me a couple days and maybe about 4, 5, 6-ish citrus fruits before my jar is completely full. Once your jar is completely full, then you just top it off with vinegar all the way up to the top, and of course the citrus will absorb some of this vinegar, so throughout the week or the next 2 weeks while this is fermenting, be sure to top it off every now and then with remaining vinegar. That's optional, you don't have to do that. I forget sometimes and I just ignore it. But then you just leave it sit in your fridge for 1 week at the minimum, but I've also done it for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, just depending on how strong of a citrus flavor you want and how long you forget about it or how anxious you are. Because sometimes I'm really anxious to get it done and over with, so I take it out at like 10 or 14 days. But then if I am just lazy and I forget about it, I leave it in there for sometimes a month. After that, you just have to strain the liquid, and that's why it's best to use a wide mouth jar if you can, but I don't have one, so I just use old juice jars, and I use upcycled glass. Once you have them all drained out, and it might take a little bit of digging with your fingers, or you can use chopsticks or tongs or whatever you feel like, just make sure you get all of the peel out and separated from the liquid. And then if you are picky about the pulp, you can strain it again. Once it's strained, I typically do about 2 parts vinegar to 1 part water. I don't do a quite half and half ratio because I like mine to still be really strong, but it does need to be watered down a little bit or else it's a little too strong, a little too vinegary. Once you have your vinegar watered down a little bit, all you have to do is put it into a spray bottle. And again, you can use something that you have upcycled or try to find one secondhand if you can. Try not to buy new if possible, but whatever you have to do to get your hands on a spray bottle. But one of my spray bottles is an old vinegar bottle and an old spray thing from a thing of cleaner, and they actually fit perfectly. So I made my own spray bottle that was glass. And again, this works great on all surfaces. I use it mostly on like my countertops in the kitchen because it works really, really great at getting like old crusty food off of surfaces. If you have something that's like really hard to get out, be sure to spray it and let it sit for a few minutes and then scrub it. And it honestly doesn't require that much scrubbing. The vinegar works so good. And you're probably wondering about the vinegar smell, but don't worry. It does smell like vinegar for a little bit. But if you have any sort of fan in your kitchen or your bathroom or wherever you use it, or you can just open the windows to make the process and the smell go a little bit quicker. Either way, even if you don't open your windows, the smell will evaporate and it won't be smelling like vinegar, and it'll look so lovely and clean. The point of the citrus peels is to help like the cleaning a little bit, kind of helps the power of the vinegar, I suppose, but is also because it makes the vinegar smell a little less vinegary. I'm not saying it works perfectly, but it does help a little bit. It is very simple. I love that it utilizes food waste, even though it still has to be composted at the end of its life. At least it gets a little more use before that point. Let's move on to my dishwashing detergent. So normally this is about all that I make. Usually it all fits in here, but I had a little extra today. So, I mean, there's really you don't have to be exact on your measurements. If you're a little off, then it's fine. What I normally do for the recipe is 2 cups of washing soda. This can be found like in the cleaning or like detergent laundry section of your store. If you don't have access to this, you can just use regular baking soda. I also use 2 cups of borax, again, found like in the laundry section. Half a cup of citric acid. This is found like in the mason jar canning section, so that's pretty easy to find as well. And same with Epsom salt, just a half a cup of Epsom salt. But today's recipe was a little bit different because the washing soda got a little clumpy and it was acting up on me. So I just went ahead and 1.5 the recipe. So that makes it 3 cups of washing soda, 3 cups of borax, 1 cup of citric acid, and 1 cup of Epsom salt. And this was all that was in here is 1 cup of citric acid. Usually this lasts me 2 batches. I just realized I did it wrong. I should have only used 3/4 of this. Oh well. We'll try this recipe and see if it works. Stay in school, kids, and don't quit doing math because math is actually helpful. All you really have to do is measure them, pour them into a big enough bowl, mix them all up, and then you're good to go. That's literally it. This is a great opportunity to use some upcycled containers. This one's a peanut butter jar, this one's a protein container. And you know what comes normally with a protein container that works great with this detergent is a scoop. I mean, these are technically recyclable, they're a 5. If you wanna learn more about like the do's and don'ts of recycling the different types of plastic, you can watch this video right here. So this is technically recyclable, though probably won't be. Even if you can recycle like containers like these, it's really great to upcycle plastic that cannot be easily recycled. I guess it depends on the size of the load, but I typically go for 3/4 or an entire scoop. If you want a little extra power in the dishwasher, you can just add like a tablespoon or 2 of vinegar to this. It'll start fizzing and it'll get nice and sudsy in the dishwasher. And then if you want to take it another step further and make actual tabs, I actually have an Instagram post about this that I did about a year ago. The first time I tried these, I made them into tabs and I ended up hating them. But the making of the tabs is very annoying. So if you have patience and you actually really want to use tabs, go for it. So to the original recipe, add 1/2 cup of vinegar, maybe just a little bit more if you need, if you think it's getting too dry. But the problem with this is you have to act super fast. You have to mix it quick. And then you can probably form them in your hand if you want. That might get a little messy, but you have to use like a scoop or a spatula and then pack them into ice cube trays. It was just way too much work. I could not work fast enough. If you had a team of like 4 people, or maybe if you did it in batches, that could probably work better as well, but I just don't have the patience for that. This is literally less than 5 minutes to combine them all. All the ingredients are found super easily, and then you just add a scoop to your dishwasher. I love this recipe. It works really great in my dishwasher. So now let's talk about some pros and cons to this versus using commercial dishwasher detergent. The first pro is that they are all natural ingredients. They are all easily accessible. I don't have to worry about there being any chemicals in my dishwasher and therefore being any chemicals on my food. I'm really sorry about her. Her bell is annoying, but I'm gonna keep going. So I've had these for a year. That's how long these last. This made 3 batches and this will probably make about 4 batches. So, and then of course these both come in cardboard, so very easily recyclable or compostable, which is great. So this isn't easily recyclable, though some places might recycle it, but I haven't been able to find citric acid any other way. So this is this and the Epsom salt. Unfortunately, they cannot be recycled, so it's a bit of a give and take there. This is how much I still have left of the Epsom salt. I've had this for over a year. This has been almost 2 years since I've had this. And of course, Epsom salt has great benefits and other uses all around the house, which is great and it lasts a long time. This one's not so great because I literally just bought this and used it all in one sitting. So usually it lasts me 2 batches, but I used it all today just because I had extra washing soda. But another pro is that all these ingredients do last a long time and give me more washes than 1 plastic jug of dishwasher detergent, if that makes sense. I should probably actually measure about how many washes. I mean, I guess I could count the scoops. I don't really count how many uses this makes this lasts me, but this container lasts probably 6 months, I think. Like, I only make this stuff twice a year. Yeah, that makes sense because I made my first batch last March and then I'm making my 3rd batch this March, which means 2 batches per year. I think we were buying normal dishwasher detergent like once a month or maybe like every 2 or 3 months. We were buying dishwasher detergent much more frequently, so therefore producing more waste. That was a lot to say on the dishwasher detergent. I hope you use this recipe. If you do, let me know. So let's move on to my 3rd homemade cleaning recipe. So all that I do for my 3rd one is pour a little bit of baking soda in the drain, spray it with some of my citrus vinegar cleaner, and then let it sit for a few minutes. And then once it's done and it's done fizzing, that's when I boil some water and I pour some boiling water over it to rinse it down. This works as a pretty good makeshift drain cleaner. It's not the greatest, but it does do the job, and it's also great for just polishing and making your sinks look really nice. I hope you enjoyed these 3 super simple homemade cleaners and these natural and cheap and easy ways to clean your house while you're quarantined, while you're sick, or just any time throughout the year. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this type of video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you like this type of content, all things environmentalism, I also talk about minimalism, zero waste, sustainability, veganism, all that stuff. If you're interested, be sure to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell for post notifications, and I'll be back here every Monday and Thursday, Japan Standard Time, with another video. In the meantime, if you'd like to check out my Instagram and my website, be sure to do so. And until next time, remember that these small changes you make have a big impact in the long run. Bye, guys. And I think the first, but where was I going? The point of the orange peels, the point of the citrus peels is to help so normally all I do for the recipe is 2 cups of washing soda. So that makes it, if you're watching Arm & Hammer or 12 Mule Team Borax, and he's really, oh my gosh.